So the next aspect that we would be looking at is data modeling. So far, it was all about your case design. How do you define your case lifecycle? And how do you set some case statuses, SLAs, then your routing and sort of stuff. But to add data or how to decide what kind of data I should add in my application. Right? So that is also important. Correct? What type of data you're going to handle? How is the data coming or where is it coming from? So all that will be part of your data modeling. Okay. So when I talk about data modeling, I have two aspects coming up here. Okay, let me show it this way. Yes. So deciding the data model of your application is like an initial design aspect that we have to do. Okay. So generally any project we take, not just in Pega, any application that we take, we would do a data modeling so that we know what kind of data we are going to handle, what type is it, what kind is it, like how much column size should I be using if I want to store it in the table. So all of that would be decided. Right? Before we start itself, we would decide that. Here also in Pega, we have different kinds of data entities. So what type of data you are going to handle? Accordingly, we will choose the data elements. Okay. I think before directly moving on to this, let us check a simple scenario. Okay. So far, for example, we have collected the candidate's first name, okay, then last name, and then email, okay, and then some date of birth, phone. So all these are collected from the user. Good. So do these have any logical relationship between them? Any logical relationship here?
No. No, isn't it?
No, they're all kind of separate or individual entities. I know they are all related to the candidate, but in the system, I did not define anything to establish some logical relationship. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So typically, these are called single valued properties. So they're on their own. Even though they're all related to a candidate, they're all on their own. So this becomes a little bit difficult for me to handle when I'm gathering information. Suppose I'm collecting or I'm getting all this data from some external system. Like suppose you're dealing with a customer service application. So when you call in your bank for a particular issue, so they would ask you some details, verify, and they would be able to see all the customer profile. So all your data would be available on the screen. Now, would it be like they will have every data related to the customer? I mean, related to all the customers, or whether they would just request the data as and when a particular user is calling? Which one would be?
Yeah, it will be only they will be searching for that particular, they will be only retrieving those records which they need at a time.
Correct.
Yeah.
So all bank, I mean, every detail of all the customers will not be available. As and when requested, that particular customer details will be fetched.
Yeah.
Right. Now, is it good to fetch like this? Like first I get the first name. After that, I get the last name, then email, then date of birth, phone number, address. Would it be like one-on-one?
No, it might be on a unique ID or something, I think.
Right. I mean, yes, based on a
Reference.
unique ID only. Will I get it like individually, each of these items, or will I get it like a bundle?
No, it will be saved in one record for that ID. In the sense,
Exactly.
it might be in multiple tables in the backend, but it will be all connected through
Correct.
one ID.
Exactly. Right. So I would try to sort of bundle all these items together so it forms a customer profile.
Yeah.
bundling is called data object or a data type. So we call it a data. So this is what data type is meant. A collection of related elements. So it could be of a customer, it could be of a candidate, student, employee, any collection it could be there. But if it's of related elements, we call it a data type or a data object. Okay. So not always we go with these single value properties. So we generally go with data types or data objects because it would be easy for us to retrieve the data. It would be easy for us to save the data as well. Right? Rather than handling one of it separately, we club them together, we bundle them, and we call it a data type. Just like structures in C language.
Yeah.
Right? So no sort of structures, right? Array will have only similar elements. Whereas structures can data, I mean, it have multiple data types. Similarly, here also data type has multiple field types. So here for a customer data type, the customer data type, you can have all these entities put together. First name, then you can have last name, email,
Yeah, all passing together.
all of it put together, correct. Then there might be address, then your SSN numbers, then your other sort of all your proofs, then address, everything can be just put under one single data type. Okay. So now when I try to classify things based upon this single valued properties and this this data objects, we have two classifications coming up. Okay. So what are those? If you observe. So the first one is a value mode, where it is all related to a single piece of information without any logical relationship. If they are like single entities, it is part of the value mode. Whereas page mode properties are related to your data objects. So it consists of bundle of data there. Okay, so two categories are available: page mode and value mode. Now within this, again, there is a further classification. Value mode properties are again classified into three types: single value, value group, and value list. So what is a single value? Single value is something which is just like the first name. It doesn't have any correlation with others. Or some case. If you want to have it as an individual entity, you define as a single valued property. The ones that we have created so far are all single valued properties because we did not establish any relationship between them. So they are considered as single valued properties. Okay. Then I have value group. The value group, maybe by the name itself we can understand, it is a group of single valued properties. So if you want it to be an unordered list, you would go for a value group. And if you want to be an ordered list, you go for a value list. So both are for grouping. One is sorted, other is not sorted. Okay, probably a list of phone numbers. Suppose I have a list of 4 phone numbers, all related to the candidate only. Okay, one is residence, one is office, one is fax, one is mobile. Do I need to sort them? Is it required that we sort it? Not required. So I will use a value group for it.
No.
Okay. Whereas maybe year of passing or educational details could be there. So it needs to be in a sorted or a chronological order. So we'll go for a value. Okay. So value mode property basically for single valued properties only. Either it could be a group or a single entity, but they're all related to single mode properties. On the similar hand, I have page mode properties. If you are dealing with one candidate record, So a record as in, it will have first name, it will have last name, email, phone number, address, date of birth, SSN, bank, customer ID, all of these are involved. And if you are dealing with one record of it, you call it a page. Okay. So one record candidate of an employee of a customer is called a page. If you are dealing with multiple records of candidates, it is called a page list or a page group. Okay. Again, depending upon the sorting. If I want all the customer records to be sorted depending upon their date of registration, I would use a page list for it. Whereas page group is for an accurate list. Alright. So this classification or deciding what kind of entities I should be using, this has to be done as a design time aspect. So I should check what kind of data I would be handling in my application. So what kind of aspect should I have? Right? So these need to be checked. Okay, so let us go ahead. We'll try to see how this works on the application directly. Okay, so let me take you to the application. Yes, here is my application. And so far, it is all about single valued properties. But now I'm going to create some data objects. So here is where you have the data explorer. Click on data objects. So slowly we'll talk about how to source these and all. But for now, let us stick on to understanding the data objects and these types. So currently no data objects are there. Let me add one. You can either click on add data object, you can click on new. Either one is the same.
Sorry, where you went?
I just clicked on the data explorer. So you see the left side. Right?
Okay.
Here I clicked on it and then I clicked on add data. Okay. So what is the data object you're going to create? Is it customer? Is it employee? Candidate? Or is it a student? Or is it address? It is up to you. Like for what are you going to create? As I'm dealing with recruitment, I would name it candidate. Okay. Now, do you want to define any source for it? No, I don't need any sources.
No.
I would want to design the data model. Then I will decide from where it has to be sourced or where is it coming from? Am I fetching it? Am I storing? So I will decide that later. So first let us do the data model. Okay, so let me do it to later. Okay, let me submit. And you can also do it through a spreadsheet. We'll see what is this a little later. Let me submit. I clicked on submit, right? Why is not adding? Yeah, that is a little slow. Okay. So I see the data object as a candidate. Good. Now, the candidate, what all entities are you going to add? What all fields are you going to add? On the right side, add a field. Click on it. Okay. So what type of entities you want for a candidate? Maybe first name. Right? And what type it has to be? Text. Good. Let me submit. I want to add few other details as well.
So where are you going to specify the data type then later?
So this is your data object, right? Nothing but the data type.
Oh,
So this
okay,
is
okay.
candidate. Right? Within the candidate, I'm having separate entities. Like first name is an entity, is a field. Last name is a field. Date of birth could be a field. Like that.
Okay.
maybe once we add, I think that will be a little more clear. Let me add
No,
here.
because you had spoken about single value and other thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? So if it is a single value, you're not going to use the data object at all. Does that mean that way? Like how we create it directly?
Earlier, without any data object, we have
Yeah,
created, right? The first name, last name.
yeah.
They are part of a data type, but
They're
it's
not
not a
of any
best.
kind of data type, isn't it? They're
Correct.
single valued. Like
They are
you're not
on their own. They
connecting
will
them.
be valid.
Okay, yeah. Mm.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So it's always a good practice to use more and more data objects rather than single valued properties, because these data objects will give you a lot of reusability. I'll show how.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me add. And what else I might need? Address.
Mhm.
Okay. Then you can have, I mean, for each of the types that you select, you get to see the options, whether it has to be a rich text, a plain text, all of that. And what else I might need? Phone. I think email also has to be there.
Mhm.
Right? And you can have SSN numbers and depending upon the type of data you're going to handle. So all this is part of candidate. So you can have university as well. Okay. So I think yes, we are good. Let me just add in one more grade and then we are good, I think. Grade, I'll let this be an integer. Okay, fair enough. Let me submit. Okay. Right. I think first name. So all of this is corresponding to the candidate. Let me save.
Yeah. So this is a data object as a whole candidate.
Correct. So now let's see what happens. I'll go to the case type now. Recruitment. I'll go to the same get personal info screen. Configure
Mhm.
view.
Yeah.
So earlier, these were all like single value properties, right? So this
Mhm.
time, I'm going to add a field related to my data type. This time, I will name it candidate page, because for uh, the when you observe this, when you have a single entity of the data type, you call it a page, right? So
Mhm.
in order to know that, I am naming it as a single page. So what would be the type of this candidate now? Will it be a text?
No.
I have a group of entities, so it cannot be a text. It cannot be a paragraph boolean. So none of these will work. What should I
Yeah.
choose then? So here comes your data relationship. Let me choose
Okay.
this data relationship. And now you see, for this recruitment case type, let me click on the target type, and then you have data objects. So there's
So
one
you
data
can
object.
select.
Let me select candidate. And are you going to just deal with a single record of candidate or multiple records?
Multiple.
Let us first, maybe let us do it for single record.
Okay, per candidate you mean.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you observe, there's a candidate page that is coming up. Let me submit. You can see how it looks like. So earlier, I've added like 6 different fields were added for each of it. Now,
Mhm.
just data relationship for your candidate data type is added, and we'll see what would be the result. Would it be the same?
No, it will be coming up with that page where you will have all the information which you have given in the data object.
Right. So let us see. So I did not source it yet. I don't have any source for it.
Oh, okay. You didn't define it anywhere in the UI, you mean?
No, I did not define a source. So you
Yeah.
see now, first name, last name, this is all part of the earlier scenario, the single valued property. So here comes your page property, part of your data type.
Yeah.
So now it's more easier for me to handle multiple things together.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I want to do it the same thing on onboarding case type, I just need that data type and I can use it. Right?
Yeah.
If I want resignation, I can do it because the data type is available. It's easy for me now.
Yeah. Just call that as a page. So entire page.
Exactly. Because this first name, last name, phone, email, this would be there in all the transactions. It will be there in recruitment, it will be there in onboarding, resignation, employee engagement. Now, I cannot sit and create all of these each time in each of the case, right? So what I do, I define them as a data type. I can use it wherever I want. Okay, so this is a single page that we have created. Let's see what happens with the list. Let me go back. So this time I'm going to use multiple entities of the candidate. We'll see how this can be used. Again, configure view. Now, what is the field type that I should be using? Can I use a text? Can I use a, okay, I'll name it candidate list. So again, I should be using a data relationship. This time I will choose, again, I'll choose candidate, but options are for multiple records. So let us see. I'm going to submit. We'll see how this looks like. Let me advance the case. So all these are my single valued properties. Good. This is part of my page property. Good. What about the list? Yes, here is your list. Right? So all the entities that you have added on the data type, they are available as list on the candidate list. Here I can enter details.
It's not about single candidate, isn't it? It's about this can be done as a super user, like if you want to see, like the HR can see everyone's.
Correct. Exactly.
Everyone's details, but you as a candidate or as a manager, you can see only your people. So is that
Exactly. Perfect.
how you use the list?
Correct. So list is more like it gives you a group of things. I mean, whatever is part of the data type, you get to see all those as list. Number of records would
Okay.
be shown.
Okay, so it's not about the same candidate, it's about listing the candidates, isn't it? All the
Exactly.
candidates in the system.
Right.
Yeah.
So in fact, you might create a data type for educational details, because for each kind of educational detail, you will have the year of passing, you will have the school, the degree, likewise, right? So for listing all those educational details, you can use this this kind of a list view. Okay, so that what do you need to do? Create a data type first for educational details. Okay, it should have the year of passing, the course, or maybe what do you call it, the degree, right? then specialization, then you need to have the university or school, the grade, right? So
Yeah.
each candidate will enter multiple entities of this. So the 10th grade would be a single record. Then 12th grade would be another record. Bachelor's, master's, likewise. So you can do that.
Okay.
Your list type of data. So it makes it a lot more easier for me to handle this when they are bundled together, right?
Yeah.
Rather than being single value properties, it's easy. It would be easy for reusability as well.
Mm.
Yes. And as a best practice, we would generally suggest to use data types rather than single valued properties, because that promotes a lot of reusability in the applications. Right? So you
Yeah.
can check that. Suppose if in the onboarding also you will have these entities like first name, last name, all of it. Probably 10, 20 properties will be repeating in all the case types. So if you start
Mm.
creating each of it every case type, that's a repetition. It's a lot of effort being wasted. Right? So put all of them in a data type, use it wherever you want. You can use in n
Yeah.
number of places, n number of transactions. Right? So that's the advantage of having a data type. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear with this? Are we good with
Yeah.
this? Any
Yeah.
questions so far?
No, I think I asked
Okay.
in between, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Any questions?
Oh, no, no, not now. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So, because these data types are like, uh, we will try to sort of put them while we configure the skeleton of the application. So if there are any more
Okay, so this is a
complexities,
job of the uh,
BA,
business.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So you should, I mean, like clearly know like what data types to create. Okay,
Mm.
should it be of date, or if you think address could also be a data type, right? Because you will have, I mean, if you want to break down your address, so you can have it in like house number, street,
Yeah.
lane,
Yeah, and you
city,
have to make something
land.
because if you give it as a paragraph, you can't make it mandatory, isn't it? But you want to make some lines
Exactly.
mandatory. So,
Correct, correct. So you can enter that city, state, zip code. So all of those can be part of a data type. And you can use it
yeah.
across multiple types, because address is a common thing that is there in all the HR transactions, right?
Yeah.
So likewise, it depends on the scenarios and on the requirements. So we will see all entities are required. Yeah. So are we good so far?
Yeah.
Any other
Yeah.
questions? We are
Uh,
good, right? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.